Crying easily has almost nothing to do with emotional weakness. Most people spend years apologizing for their tears because society taught them sensitivity is a defect. The truth is that your brain is simply operating on a completely different frequency. You might feel overwhelmed in crowded rooms or deeply hurt by a slight change in someone's tone. Others tell you to toughen up or stop taking everything so personally. This constant feedback makes millions of people believe they are broken or fragile. Psychologists call individuals with this trait highly sensitive people. Rather than a personality flaw, this is a distinct biological variation in human hardware. Around 20% of the global population carries this unique neural architecture. Your nervous system absorbs details that 80% of people completely overlook. Understanding how your brain processes the world can permanently change how you view yourself. Let us explore the remarkable neuroscience behind your emotional sensitivity. Human brains act very much like digital video cameras recording reality. Most people record daily life in standard definition, around 720p resolution. A standard definition camera records enough details to function effectively without overloading memory storage. Your sensitive brain, however, records reality in ultra-high definition, 8K resolution. Neuroscience reveals three major hardware differences that create this intense experience of life. The first hardware difference involves a neuroscientific mechanism called low latent inhibition. Latent inhibition is the brain's natural security filter that blocks out useless background information. Average human brain automatically filters out 90% of sensory inputs to save mental energy. It classifies background hums, subtle textures, and minor lighting changes as irrelevant noise. Your brain lacks this heavy sensory filter and keeps the intake channel wide open. You process the texture of your shirt, the buzzing refrigerator, and a coworker's mood simultaneously. This constant influx of data explains why crowded environments drain your energy so quickly. Your mind is simply working much harder to process 10 times more raw information. The second hardware upgrade involves hyperactive mirror neurons in your brain. Mirror neurons are specialized brain cells responsible for empathy and social understanding. When you watch another person experience joy or sadness, these neurons fire in your own head. In a highly sensitive brain, mirror neurons fire with extraordinary intensity. You do not just intellectually recognize that someone else is feeling sad or anxious. Your brain physically simulates their exact emotional state inside your own body. You act as an emotional sponge in a world filled with unaddressed emotional spills. Absorbing the feelings of everyone around you can make social interactions exhausting. The third hardware distinction is known as deep semantic encoding, or depth of processing. When faced with a decision, sensitive people often pause before taking action. Society frequently misinterprets this pause as hesitation, confusion, or slowness. Scientific brain scans show that you are actually performing deep semantic processing. While others engage in shallow processing by reacting immediately to surface events, you dig deeper. Your mind automatically compares the present moment with past memories and future possibilities. You analyze subtle meanings and run complex simulations before choosing how to respond. This deep computation requires significant mental energy and temporary stillness. You are not slow or indecisive. You are running an advanced calculation. Together, these three neural features turn your brain into a high-performance radar system. Low latent inhibition brings in massive amounts of environmental data. Hyperactive mirror neurons process social and emotional dynamics instantly. Depth of processing analyzes every variable to find the safest path forward. This explains why an emotional movie or a harsh word can trigger immediate tears. Tears are simply the pressure relief valve when your high-resolution system reaches capacity. Your body releases stress hormones through crying to restore internal balance. Crying is a biological reset button, not a sign of moral failure. When you cry, your body is actively protecting your nervous system from burnout. Holding back tears forces your brain to store unprocessed stress internally. Allowing yourself to cry keeps your emotional channels clean and functioning smoothly. Every time you cry, your parasympathetic nervous system works to calm your heart rate. This biological reaction lowers cortisol levels and promotes psychological recovery. Sensitive individuals often feel ashamed during these moments of emotional release. Recognizing the neurobiology behind tears frees you from unnecessary guilt. Your emotional reactions are appropriate responses to an overwhelming stream of input. You are experiencing the world with maximum sensory clarity and depth. This level of awareness is a rare cognitive configuration in modern human society. Your brain is intentionally built to register nuances that others walk past. Sensitivity is an active processing style rather than a passive vulnerability. Every emotional wave you feel is rooted in measurable neurological activity. Scientists can literally measure the heightened brain activation in sensitive individuals. Your tears are physical proof of a deeply engaged human mind. Consider how an artist notices subtle shifts in color that non-artists miss completely. An artist sees 12 shades of shadow where an untrained eye sees simple darkness. Your emotional radar works in the exact same way with human feelings and environments. Where others see a quiet conversation, you notice unspoken tension and hidden sadness. People might tell you that you are overthinking simple, everyday situations. Overthinking usually means spinning in circles of unproductive anxiety and fear. Deep processing, on the other hand, is a structured search for meaning and context. You are connecting dots across time to predict consequences that others fail to foresee. Another common misconception is that sensitive people cannot handle pressure. Sensitive individuals actually perform exceptionally well when given time to process incoming data. Pressure becomes toxic only when you are forced to react without adequate quiet time. Misunderstanding your own design leads to constant self-criticism and unnecessary exhaustion. You try to force an 8K supercomputer to act like a basic flip phone. Comparing your processing style to non-sensitive individuals creates artificial inadequacy. When you measure a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it believes it is foolish. When you measure a supersensor by warrior standards, you misunderstand their purpose. Correcting these misconceptions allows you to embrace your natural cognitive strengths. Evolutionary biology explains why natural selection preserved this sensitive trait for thousands of years. Ancient human tribes needed brave warriors to hunt food and defend against predators. However, a tribe composed entirely of reckless warriors would quickly run into dangerous traps. The tribe vital required sensitive scouts and advisors to survive incoming threats. Sensitive individuals noticed slight weather changes before destructive storms arrived. They sensed subtle shifts in neighboring tribes that signaled impending conflict or deception. Your sensitivity served as the early warning system that kept the entire community alive. Botanists use a famous metaphor comparing dandelions and orchids to explain human adaptation. Most people are like dandelions because they can grow anywhere, even in concrete cracks. Dandelions are resilient and indifferent to harsh weather or poor soil quality. Highly sensitive people are like delicate orchids that require specific growing conditions. If you plant an orchid in harsh soil with cold wind, it quickly wilts. However, when an orchid receives proper sunlight, clean water, and rich soil, it blooms magnificently. Researchers call this phenomenon vantage sensitivity because sensitive people thrive extraordinarily in supportive environments. You do not need to toughen up. You simply need to move yourself into a greenhouse. Stop trying to install a thicker filter on a brain built for high-definition clarity. Protect your gift by setting clear boundaries and honoring your daily need for quiet reflection. Build spaces in your routine where your high-resolution radar can safely power down. The world desperately needs your empathy, insight, and deep human connection. The next time tears come to your eyes, remember that your radar is functioning perfectly. You are not broken or weak. You are seeing and feeling the world in glorious 8K. How do you usually create a quiet greenhouse space for your sensitive mind after a long day? Share your favorite quiet routines in the comments below so we can learn from each other.